Hang on, let me change this. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so cooked, chat. All right. Oh man. So we're gonna pivot a little bit. I need. I'm thinking about doing something stupid for my CC deck at Worlds. I know everybody in the Car Guys chat is probably giggling about this, but I'm literally doubting myself. And I want chat to kind of tell me. We're gonna talk about it a little bit later on whether like it's a good idea or not. I'm having cold feet. Okay. But we're gonna talk about that along with um we're gonna also discuss some things like the elo changes. Obviously, it's a pretty big change if you're um traveling to a lot of events, things like that. Um, anybody that's accumulating any decent number of points, you basically have a permanent invite, which I think is, like if we're being honest, like that's kind of deserved, right? Like, but I mean, I guess at the same time, you're like, the way that I kind of look at it so far, I mean, let's just hop straight into it, right? Like, the way that I'm kind of looking at it is essentially anybody that is accumulating a lot of elo should theoretically be accumulating a lot of world tour points unless um you know I don't know what type of bubble protection they have in these situations. Like that's the only thing that really isn't accounted for, maybe. But yeah, they even have like ninth to 16th and stuff like that for calling. So yeah, like if you're performing decently, like you're getting points. Um, so with that being said, the one thing that I do like about it is like it completely removes that situation where somebody takes a year off the game and then they're using up a qualification for worlds, right? Because I've seen that happen a lot where somebody will just like not play a game and there's no elo degradation or anything like that built into the system. And so that person can just, just kind of stay at that elo. Now you have elo inflation, which kind of inadvertently kind of takes care of that problem as well. But very it's not really good at doing it, right? Um, so overall opinion on the changes is going to be I think it's a plus for them trying something new. Whether the values for the placements, I've heard some criticisms on that, and that's perfectly valid. That's something that they're going to have to let it go for 2, 3, 4, 5 months and then kind of make some adjustments, whatever the case may be. But I think that this is like a solid change. They're at least trying something new. What I do know is Elo is not the answer, right? I think we know that. We've seen it at the highest levels where somebody can win a game and get 3 elo, and somebody loses that same game and they lose 30 elo, right? Um, Flesh and Blood is a game of skill, but at the same time, it is still a card game, right? And you can't have like a chess type of system. Like it's just not going to go well unless you just go on some crazy tear, right? Um, so I like the direction that they're taking. Another interesting aspect that is, I don't know quite how I feel about it yet, is the like more invites to the region in which the event is at. And I I don't know how I feel about this one, right? Because theoretically, right? Let's say we go to a region and like top 15 global, right? There's obviously going to be 51 through um 51 through 75, right? That are not going to get an invite. Now some of those are going to be in whatever region that it lands, right? But there'll be approximately 15 to 20 people, give or take, that did not get an invite, even though their world tour points were higher than people of the local region. Um, for a, I don't know how I feel about that one. That's my one critique to the system is, um, it's, I feel like that those people have kind of earned that. And I don't think that the location of the Pro Tour has, I'm just going to be honest. Like, I don't think it has dick all to do with like, who should be able to go to it and who shouldn't. My personal opinion, I think it should just say top 75 and then run with it, right? There is the valid argument that, like, okay, certain regions get access to more events than others, and that's perfectly understandable and a perfectly valid, right? Because like some people are just not going to have the opportunity to accumulate so many points. Um, but that's not handled this way, right? I think that you could. I don't know. I don't know how you solve that problem. I just I don't know how. I don't necessarily dislike it. I'm not fighting against it a whole lot, but um, I just don't know how I feel about it. If I'm being 100%. I didn't understand how it will work. I'm dumb. Okay, so I'll explain it real quick for anybody kind of having trouble. But basically, what happens is in the 9 months preceding, or the 3 seasons is what they call it. Basically, you're going to accumulate X number of world tour points, and then the accumulation of that. Let me make sure it's 9 months and not 12 months. World Tour points ranking based invitations will be determined by the okay. Okay, yeah. It would be April, July to April. Yeah. So it's 9 months. And yeah, 3 seasons. I had it right. 9 months slash 3 seasons, because that's roughly we have a set every quarter or so, and that's the season, right? So this invite would kind of measure all the way from February to September. And how many world tour points you accumulate from February to September, using this event as an example, is like your ranking, right? Your world tour points. And then the top 50 or top 25 in the region would get an invite based on what you accumulated you know, in this portion. So theoretically, um, in this example on May 23rd, which is when this is the very beginning of this, um, effectively, if let's just say hypothetically the national championship was on May 20th, right? You would not get any world tour points you accumulate on that event would not count towards qualifying for this event. Is effectively how it will work. So it's basically it's an elo check for the past 9 months, and it doesn't keep account for 4 years or however long you've had your account open. Is kind of the idea. I hope I explained that whatsoever correctly. But that's kind of the idea. Um, so I'm kind of on board with it. I think it rewards players that actively play the game a lot. I think it rewards players that, um, you know, my favorite part about this is like you have, because the elo system was so aggressive the higher you got up there. Uh, I really like the aspect that if you, let's say you're Jacob Clements, right? And you're at like almost 2000 elo or whatever he's at. If let's just say that theoretically he just had like a rough 3 months, banned his favorite deck or the deck he had the most reps on, whatever the case may be, and just had a series of bad events. If it was elo based invitations, theoretically he would not, depending on how bad that run was, he could easily like lose all, if not most of his elo, and be not have that invitation for that event. Whereas this, you would keep all of those points that you accumulated over the period of 9 months or whatever the case may be, and you could kind of weather a storm in a sense. So I do like how there's kind of those built-in protections. Once again, all the values, I guarantee you they will change. They'll change probably several times, to be honest, and we'll see where it goes. Uh, Interesting though. What's a showdown? Hold up. Might be wondering what a showdown is, but the story. Okay, I guess this is what replaces the battle hardened. That's what it looks like because you have, yeah, it would normally be World Championship, Pro Tour, calling slash Nats, and then usually be battle hardened. So I guess this is the battle hardened. That's the first time seeing that or hearing about it. So that's interesting to say the least. I'm interested to see what that actually means, but we'll have to wait obviously till next weekend to get a read on that. So overall, I'm happy to see LSS actually, try to make some changes. And we'll see. Maybe I know the way Magic used to do it is like if you got so many points or whatever the case may be, I think they were pro player points or whatever they called them. You would get like buys and stuff like that for the first 2 or 3 rounds. I'm curious if LSS is like entertaining that idea, what they have against that idea. I'm not necessarily for or against it. I'm just curious because I know a lot of them have that history with Magic, and I'm sure they've like talked about it. And I would be curious to kind of hear their argument on why they're not doing that. Um, Once again, not saying that it's a bad thing that they're not. I'm just saying I'm curious. Why would they change the name? I don't know. I mean, maybe it's something completely different. I have no clue. I have no possible idea. Join the Fang Gang. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, G. Think Showdown is a new name for Battle Yeah. Battle Harden is an awkward name. I mean, sure. If they were just changing the name, I don't think they would be making a spectacle out of it, right? Like, oh, you'll have to see what a showdown is at the keynote, and turns out they just renamed a battle heart. No, it's got to be something different. I don't know what it is, but it's got to be something. It's interesting though that it only goes down to top four, or at least the points do. Um, hmm. Winning a showdown is worth getting third and fourth at a call-in. That's interesting. Okay, so it's I don't know. I think third or fourth at a calling is worth more than winning a battle harden. I would say. I'm interested. They have my attention, to say the least. But we'll see. We will see this next coming weekend. And with that, let's talk about what I need. I need help, chat. Okay. As of 24 hours ago, I thought I was locked. Okay. And I might still be. But I'm going to tell you what I'm currently planning on playing for Worlds in both formats. And I want I want everybody to be brutally honest. Like if I'm being an idiot for picking this, then like, you know, let me know. Um if I'm not, then let me hear it. I'm looking for some feedback, some just brutal feedback. And the answer is not Marlin because me and Taylor are banned from playing the same deck. It's not compatible. It for this specific event, if Taylor walked up to me with a deck and said, "This is mathematically the best deck in the format," and like it was irrefutable, I still would not play it because I would just evaporate to variance. Like every time me and Taylor have brought the same list, it has been a disaster. It has been an absolute disaster. So we have to at least have one event. And if we do both do like decent or well or whatever, then we know we just can't ever play the same deck, and that's fine. Um, so You can't play Briar and CC. Damn it, he's on to me. Oh no. So okay, I'm just gonna jump for LL. I'm playing Viscerai. That's not what I need to know. Okay, that's not. I know I'm okay with that selection. I don't think anybody is particularly surprised about that. I said I was bringing a Rune Blade no matter what. I just think it's the most well positioned Rune Blade. Simple as that. I don't think there's anything more or less with that selection. I would love to play Briar, but I think that Channel Mount Heroic or NIMBY combos and regrowth combos and stuff like that is just not enough. Um, so like that's what I'm playing. I'm playing Viscerai for LL portion of Worlds slash maybe the calling. Um, based on what I'm about to tell you, I'm playing for CC, probably the calling. So I about 48 hours ago told myself that I was locking in, and I never thought I would actually say this to an actual like serious event. I think I'm gonna play Arachne Huntsman at Worlds. Um, and I'm almost embarrassed to say it, to be honest. Uh, but ultimately, what has happened is I found an angle in the Verdance matchup. I'm gonna explain my viewpoint and why I think the selection is decent. Okay. And then feel free, chat, to like say you're wrong, disagree, whatever the case may be. I found an edge in the Verdance matchup. Okay. So I feel like really good into that matchup. I know gravy is shit. I'm not even teching for it. Like if I get paired into a gravy, like that's cool. I'm just gonna really get to know the person that I'm sitting across from because I'm not gonna be interested in the game. And you know, play the worst deck in CC and the best deck in LL just to prove a point. And ironically, I think that I have a little bit of an angle as well into Syndra. Okay. No, I'm not going to be going into details on the angles and stuff like that. I can't just spill everything, right? But ultimately, the idea is well, the first idea is not to run Remembrance into KO. That's the we just learned that one. Uh, Aaron was roasting me in some games. Holy shit. Um, so we have an angle into Verdance, and we have an okay angle, and then Aaron pipes up. Of course, of course. Um, so we have an angle into Verdance. We have a little bit of an angle into Syndra, to where it's like, okay, you know, I feel comfortable. I feel pretty comfortable. Gravy, if we get paired against it, like that's an L. We're just taking that, right? And my thought process is like with as much Syndra that's on the rise. Me personally, I think bringing Gravy, unless you're like Justin, that's been playing the deck, you know, 20 hours a day for the past year, then like okay, it's probably a decent pick for him. But if you're anybody else, like and you haven't been putting on that many because I don't think the whole reason to bring Gravy was to take down Verdance, and I don't think the matchup's that good, right? Like I don't think it's that good. And make a tier list, no joke. What is your matchup spread for Huntsman? That's a good fucking idea. And then you can tell me where I'm wrong. Okay. Bro, every stream ends in a tier list. What is happening? Every one of them. It's just destined to be. Uh, but we're right. So like, okay. So hang on. I'm making it. Fitty Fitty and mm, dog shit. Dog shit. Watch out for this very sophisticated tier list. Watch out. Watch out. Oh shit. Do that, you're gonna have to pivot down. Bro, he's still in the oh god. Okay. So I think so I think Cinder's about 50-50 ish. Okay. I think Gravy's bad. I think Syndra or not Syndra. I think Verdance is good. I think Dio is good. I think Marionette is good. I think KO is bad. I think can I add can I add a no, I can't after add tier. See, they already thought about it. We'll say playable heroes and we'll do it this way. Playable. Okay. We'll go here. This is playable. Sure, this is playable. That's playable. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Prism's playable. And I guess Jarl's Fringe playable, sure. What else we got? Bolton, Psych. Okay. I think this is kind of like most. I mean, I guess we can put in some kind of here. I think that's most of the playable heroes that are like actually going to be at the tournament, right? Sure, there might be some fringe cases and shit like that. I guess we'll throw in Dory as well. Okay. so this is a good matchup for us. 100%. This is probably bad. I think this is fine. Probably unsure. This is good. This is good because I know something. And I think this is good. I think this is bad. I think this is really good. This is free 50. You probably get grinded out by Kadachi's here, but I mean, who's playing Ira? This is good. This is 50-50-ish, and then this is probably 50-50-ish. This is what I think the Arachne Huntsman spread looks like. In my mind, this is what I'm looking at. Puffin and Fang. Uh free and free. They're gonna trip up and we're gonna take advantage of those pockets/windows. Easy peasy. Okay. So let me explain. So we found an angle here. Okay. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. Okay. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. Okay. And Fang is not free. I'll give you that. He's buy one, get one free. Okay. That's where Fang's at against Arachne Huntsman. Okay. We're getting those contracts. You got your little boots. That's fine. That's fine. Because you're just never going to get filthy. Telling you. You ain't beating a Fang. Okay. Damien, am I cap on the Fang matchup or am I right? I think I'm fine. He can't blow me up if he's pitching for his daggers. It ain't happening. That's so cap. That is actually cap. Damien, tell me if I'm wrong about that matchup. I haven't actually spent a whole lot of time on it. Okay, Dio. I think that you can like you can sync their max fees. You can just sync any zero cost boost card to make it clump up. You have a lot of angles. Never come close to. Yeah, I think Fang's fine. Just block, bro. Fang isn't freeze. Buy one get one. You buy one get one, baby. Okay. So Dash IO, I think you're fine. It's basically like Florian, but worse. Imagine if Florian could just evaporate some of your cards whenever you trip up and play an item. It's pretty bad. Mario, you have enough D-react density to where you're never really letting a lot of that stuff through, and I would maybe this is closer to 50-50. Maybe I exaggerate a little bit there because they can just high roll the britches off of you. Okay. I will admit that. Okay. Now, so basically, RKO, as long as they don't roll scabs 9 times and hit double or triple action point 9 times, I think you're super favored into RKO. Kano is also pretty free. That may be the case, but I really haven't spent a lot of the time on that. Uh, but I mean, everybody knows that you're packing like Oasis and you can kind of sit on it. You can mess with their pitch stack. Like, yeah, I can probably get that better if I spend some time on it. So you're probably right there. And I could probably get it to 50-50 ish. Because I only have a week, right? But like I could probably get it there. Uh Florian, oh my god. Like if you know a thing, that's all I can say. If you know a thing, you know a thing. Okay, you get what I'm saying. And then Kasai, if they have Warrior anywhere on the card, it is free. It is buy one get one free. Okay, during ProQuest season, I've been churning through them. I mean, I've won games so bad that they started the next game at 20 life. It was that bad. Okay, Prism, we had to work on this one a little bit. Okay, we had to got a little dicey real quick, okay? But we tuned it up, okay? We tuned it up a little bit, okay? And you know, hero power is broken versus KO. Yeah, I just gotta like think about like what they're pitching, and I have to like count. I gotta break into their mind palace and like just ransack the place. I understand. I understand. You have a bunch of reactions, so you can block Marlin. That's a given. But like I said, Prism, we had to work on that matchup. We had to make some sideboarding decisions to really just shore that up. But I felt comfortable. Like when I say good, I don't mean like 80-20. I mean like I'm just at least favorable. If I'm sitting across from that hero, like thank God it's not gravy. You know what I'm saying? Warrior, done. Buy one get one free. Puffin. Like I said, just block versus Prism. He knows the tech. He's not. He knows the tech. What can he say? A little bit more than that, but yeah, yeah. You got the idea. You got the idea. So Puffin, right? Puffin really has to have that back to back. Kind of um that back to back aggression. And a lot of times the deck will just slip up, right? Like either you have nothing but cog generation and or you have like payoff cards but no cogs, so you have to like take a turn to set up and then arsenal the payoff card, and then you just pressure the shit out of the arsenal. Like there's so many ways that you can kind of just take an advantage of those windows of opportunity into that deck to where you can really just just get there. uh but yeah, like this is all okay. But I'm telling you, I think that the deck is okay because if I didn't figure out the Verdance matchup, and it's not a card. Well, it is. It is some cards, and it is a completely flipping the way you interact in a matchup is what it took to solve that. And but I think we have it in a very very good place. So so chat, be honest with me. If if I if what I'm laying out here is true, am I like, is that not a good pick for Worlds? If what I put on this tier list as far as matchups for Arachne Huntsman, if it is all true, is that not a decent deck to bring? Ira will be exactly 1% of the meta. I think Acilio even loses a lot of points because you don't have the gravies to pick on. I'm really expecting gravies to dip. Are they going to go away? No. Like, you know how the calling Sydney, it was like Verdance, Syndra, Gravy were like all the same, and then it was Celio like way farther down. What I'm expecting is like Verdance and Syndra to go up, and then Gravy to kind of be a middle step till we get to like the really low numbers, is what I'm really expecting. So I still think Gravy will probably be the third most represented deck. But at the same time, I think there'll be a decent little step between Verdance and Syndra. I think there'll be a lot more of those decks. And you've got a better Acilio matchup than that, by the way. Oh my God. How can you beat Warrior but the 50-50 into Ninja? So the the reason for that is they have so much steady aggression, right? Where it's all about the hand texture, right? Like Ninja, for a Ninja to brick, it takes a lot. Like you have to have you have to not have a starter, which is like 38 cards in your deck or something like that, right? Like you have to like brick for a Ninja to brick. Okay. But Warriors, you could not have a blue, you could not have a go again card, or you could have had to block a previous attack like a CNC or something, and now you like reduced your options, and I can just block perfectly because there are only so many combinations of cards that can exist. Um, like there's not only that, but being teammates with Josh, I've learned a lot about Warrior. I know exactly what they're trying to do. I know like what the angles are, and I always feel comfortable playing into Warrior. Always have, always will. Um, KO is 50-50, bro. The things that, well, me and Aaron did some testing right before the stream, and what he did to me was illegal in 13 states. Okay, I mean, that shit was rough. Okay, the first one looked really good because the 100 they were clicking. Okay, you know what I'm saying? But everything else was it. Maybe it is 50-50. And I was making some very stupid sideboarding decisions. So maybe it is. You're just bad. I was watching. Okay. But look, if I put it like this, which is what they're saying in chat, Damien and the other Huntsman player, this if you could take a picture of Cope, that's what this looks like. This looks like I've overcooked. Okay, we have officially burnt, right? Like, there's no way the matchup spread looks like this. No, I'm just a god brute gamer. I mean, that could also be the case. Okay, so under the assumption that I have a really good deck and I just suck, I still think if this was true, right? Let's assume that maybe that is the matchup spread, but the way that I play the deck or whatever the case may be, I think this is the matchup spread. I still think this is good enough. I think the only thing, like, I think these heroes will be together 30% of the meta, maybe a little bit higher. And I still have time to work on these, man. I ain't working on gravy, but like these ones, I still have time to work on them. I might could like fix some stuff, I don't know. How does the Talishar data look? Okay, I'll be honest here. Do we actually? This is a serious question. It's gonna sound mean. Do we want to look at Huntsman Talishar data? Is that something we really want to do? I don't care if it proves my point. I don't know if that's real data. Is all I'm saying. Okay, I could be wrong. I could be here. Let me swap over real quick. And we'll pull it up. Huntsman Talishar, bro. Oh my god, that would be. I mean, that's like doing Kano Talishar data. Like it just does not render what is true. In my opinion, I could be out to lunch. That is entirely possible. Um, but let's fucking have a look at it. Because why the hell not? We do have 5 days worth of data for all that matters. Let me swap it over real quick. All right, where is he even at? Is the question. To put him on. Oh, 52. Holy shit, chat. We're cooking. Okay. And the reason that I know that this is a bunch of bullshit is there's no way you're 34% into Kasai. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Florian, they don't have the tech. They don't have the tech. That's a personal problem. It's a personal problem. Valda? 25? What, out of 4 games? This doesn't really matter. Da, 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 da. Where'd Huntsman go? Okay. Uh, yeah, fives, but I mean that's basically what I had. These numbers are very exaggerated because there's like not a lot of matches, right? Um, I had this one as like a closer to 50-50. I mean, this is obviously exaggerated. I'm curious what their verdance number is. 51. So it's only up and up, right? We're getting there. Maybe some other people are figuring out. Maybe I'm skewing the stats. No, I'm just kidding. Gravy Bones at a 44. It's kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of hot. Syndra at a 34. I think that is that's a skill issue, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean you have to conceptually approach the game a lot different. I will say I don't want to say it because like I'm playing this deck of worlds. And I don't want to just tell everybody what my lines are. All I'm saying is like when you play a card in an assassin deck, there are certain cards where you just automatically make certain decisions because like 99% of the time that's correct. And in this deck, you can't do that. You actually cannot do that. So Huntsman Talishar data is so fake. 52% in the field with fake data is kind of based though. I'm not gonna lie. Like that's a good place to be. It's a good place to be. Okay. If you put riches close to the top of the deck, it can be a bit punishing. That is true. So I guess it does create more of a variance based match. But yes. Okay. Yeah, a tie can hurt, but that in that matchup, that's why I don't aggressively use my tunic. Like I will never uh, dagger tunic CNC. I will usually just sit on it specifically for that reason. Um, I like fake data when I make my decision look better. See, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like I did say though, even though if it supported my point, I still don't think it's real. Okay, but now we can also try and look at tournament results, I guess. Can we pull up like Sydney? Okay, data source calling Sydney. Okay, let's look at what we got. What we got? Huntsman 55. We have made the correct choice. Okay. There was one good huntsman in Sydney. I think they're in chat now. So I'm curious to hear what are any of these 0 percenters your matchups? I'm curious. I think I can like click on this and it moves it to the top. Okay, cool. Uh, so Arachne player that played in Sydney. Did you play against Gravy, Prism, Puffin, RKO? And Reiner probably is a shit matchup to be honest. That's probably a pretty bad one, but um, you know, what do you think could make Talent Shard data more useful? It's not that like the way they collect data is bad. It's that Huntsman is so like imagine Kano, right? Where you have to basically know your entire pitch stack in some situations. You have to know how to navigate a lot of different situations, and it's just a very mentally taxing deck. If that's played on Talishar, which historically has a lower level of like skill than like a pro tour, right? Your numbers are going to fluctuate to where they benefit easy decks to play versus hard decks to play, right? Now it's not going to skew it by like 15% or in some cases it actually can with like Kano and stuff like that. But like decks like Syndra will thrive on Talishar just because they do a thing, and sometimes that's enough, right? But if the deck has a lot of nuance, Acilio is another good example. Like that, the Talishar data is going to make Acilio look a lot worse than he actually is, and that's just how it kind of is. Okay, so we have beat a Rhinar, beat a KO, Dio one, Verdance one, Syndra one, lost against Lyeth. Okay. Uh Verdance lost. Matt Rogers. Okay. Uh Gravy, Dennis saying. I can't believe Dennis is on Gravy. That's so disappointing. Oh, where's the Guardian at? Where's the Guardian at? Then Verdance again. Victor. Okay. I mean, let me move it over. Okay, so you contributed to the Goliath. And there were 3 Arachne. Oh, sorry, that's Verdance. Um, Wait, does that mean this is incorrect? You said you lost against Goliath, but this says you won. Interesting. Is the data flawed? Oh, I am reading it wrong. It's this matchup into this hero. Oh shit, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Wait, surely it's not. No way it's this into that. My 3 hunter hunted banished 4 cards total. That's wild. That's wild. But like, so chat, like that's the basis for my decision. Oh, the formatting. Oh, I get you. Okay. I'm tracking. Got it. You were putting win round 4 burdens. Gotcha. Okay. So that means you won against Goliath, but you lost against Verdance, Matt Rogers. I got you. I'm tracking. I got it. I got it. Okay. So you lost against Verdance. You lost against Gravy, of course. Like that's so you lost Verdance, Victor, and Gravy? What happened in the Victor game? I'm interested to know what happened there. And lost to the Reinar. Yeah, I think Reinar is just an atrocious matchup. You can't block out. I'm interested to hear what happened with the Victor match. I already know what happened with the Gravy matchup. But so all in all, like just to kind of get back on topic a little bit, that's my thought process. And I just want to know if I'm just like out to lunch for trying to take Arachne Huntsman, a hero that I put almost at the bottom of my tier list during the last one, to the world championship. Um, but that's where we're sitting right now. I don't know if it's right. Um, but man, like logically, it makes sense to be. Now, if my testing is off and my process is off, then like that's on me, right? And I only have the information to go off that, that I know. But Victor Game was my mate who had a lot of reps. He played the Remembrance plus cast home game plan versus yeah, that one's a bitch. That's for sure. That's for sure. Stop it, get help. That's kind of the reaction I expected, to be honest. I mean, I'm taking Marionette for a lot of the same reasons. Okay, that's fair. But like, I don't know. I feel like I'm going too far against the grain. But the shit just works. Like, I don't know. It's tough. You have to play. My favorite thing about the deck is you don't have to know what you're doing. You could every turn is an adventure, okay? Like literally. All you got to know is what the other person is trying to do. If you know that, the real question is what is plan B and how much worse is that compared to plan A? Aaron, that's actually a fantastic question. Right now, given that we only have a week more to prepare, the only option that I would have in my arsenal that I would be comfortable with would be KO. It would be it's KO or Arachne. Like there is no other option. Be honest, are you trying to scapegoat Huntsman? That is an interesting question. Uh, Definitely not. And the reason that I know that is I took Bravo to the World Championship, and um, when Icelander was objectively the best deck in the room, and yeah, like I mean, I guess I could theoretically play Syndra as well. That is, but no scapegoating. Like I don't care. The way that I look at it is like I get to chill and play Viscera if I do, you know, not have a good day. But at the end of the pro quest that I most recently played, I had an absolute blast playing Huntsman. So there's the enjoyment factor, but at the World Championship, I'm not like that's not the number one thing. But at the same time, I just think it's good. Like I actually just think it's good. Like I don't know. And I've played the deck against people that know exactly what the deck is trying to do. I've done all of those things to kind of like circumvent, inbred testing or whatever you want to call it. And I think it's just good. Huntsman's great into everything except Gravy, Reiner, Tekla. Teklo, that's an interesting one. Also, people don't know how to play against Huntsman. I think that ever since it started getting on the map, I think you've lost most of that equity. I think most of the players that show up to Worlds will have at least tested a few games or at least know the holistic game plan into what Arachne's trying to do. So I really don't think you get that equity anymore, and that's not what I'm banking on. I'm making the assumption of everybody that I sit across from knows exactly what I'm trying to do. And maybe they don't, and that would be cool. But I do have a feeling that a lot of them probably will. Um, what are you supposed to do against Huntsman or not do? It really just depends. There's like nuances of each deck, right? I don't want to give away too much once again because I'm playing it. But there are certain interactions that are very, very important that some heroes have the ability to kind of lean on. Well, some don't, and it doesn't matter. And I'm just you're we're just basically seeing, can I weather your storm and kind of disrupt you by either sinking good cards so you can't play them, or messing up your pitch stack and things like that. I mean, there's a lot of different ways. It really just depends. At Worlds, you need to bring a really weird deck like Olympia or Betsy to get an advantage of opponents. Yeah, and I don't think I'm getting any type of advantage or surprise advantage or anything like that. So I'm not really counting on that. Um, but that's why you asked the question of why not Syndra, and that's a really good point. I I have horror stories of uprising draft and just sitting down and you you basically lose the die roll. They make you go first, and the whole time you're just like, man, if only I won the die roll. Kind of like I don't know. I'm not saying it's that bad. It kind of is though, if we're being honest. Like first and second is huge in that mirror match. I don't know. So Huntsman is the current new. I don't think he's that good, but I think he's good. I don't think he's new level good. He ain't that new shit. He ain't that. If I guess your secret tech card spice in one try, will you admit it on a stream? No shot. Even if you guess it, will not happen. Because once again, I'm bringing it to the World Championship, so I'm not just gonna like tell everybody. Not gonna happen. And also, who said it's one card? Got him. Who said it's one card? But yeah, that's where we're at. I think we're gonna bring. I mean, nobody had some solid evidence against it. So when you drop day one, will you let us know? I'm sure Ethan would love to let you know during the team updates, and you'll see Arachne O2 drop. I mean, that'd be pretty hot. That'd be pretty hot. I'm still gonna guess hack to reality. Doesn't hack to reality blow up an aura? Is it aura or item? What if it was, and this is like me trying to sell everybody that it's not it? That would be good. That'd be a good way to do it. Hack to reality. I knew it's a buff. Go again. Yeah, non-token aura. What the fuck are you blowing? Other than like Ring of Roses, what are you blowing up? Weirdest card I could think of. Yeah, I don't know what you other than Ring of Roses. Like that's the only target for that card, right? That's like actually relevant. New player looking to get started in the game and need some help picking a hero, thinking either Dorinthia or Victor, looking for upper middle of the pack hero I can practice with and improve. I think both of those are pretty decent. I will say that there are some matchups if you play Victor like Gravy where it can leave you feeling a little hopeless when you're kind of getting new to the game. At the same time, it is tree. That's a good point. Um, if you're not very experienced with the game and Victor, there's matchups like Gravy and maybe even Prism to some extent that will just leave you feeling a little hopeless. If you know yourself and you know you're prone to like weather that feeling of no agency and stuff like that, I would say that Victor would be a fine pick. But if you don't want I think there's a lot less matchups, where you get that feel Verdant's Verdant's is that way, but you get the illusion that it's close, okay? Which to be honest is like important when you're starting out. You want to not get discouraged, right? That's the main thing. Have you played much versus Surgeon? I have. I have. Absolutely have. Played all the versions. Pots, no pots, some pots, rampants, no rampants, some rampants. Played against all of it. Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, that's where we're at, chat. We're thinking about bringing the Huntsman to Worlds. I told myself that I have till tomorrow night to make my final decision, and I don't see it changing. To be honest, I really don't. And maybe this is a horrible decision, and then we can clip this little section out and play it on repeat. Um, I don't know. I think I have an angle. Maybe I don't, but we will find out very quickly. Um, and also everything I'm saying could be true, and I just run into gravies, and I'm just like, all right, that was a good try. And I guess it really depends. Um, but if anybody's trying to make their deck selections, I there'll be a couple people that go on this journey with me of making bad deck decisions, but I'm expecting maybe there's like 3% Huntsman or something like that. It'll be a low number, but I think he'll be there a little bit. Maybe 3% is a little high to be honest. Like there'll be a few of us, but yeah, I don't know. Live and learn. It could be worse. I could be playing Marlin. The shade. No, I think Marlin's actually a decent pick. Nathan and Bat. That's hilarious that Taylor popped in right when I said the Marlin joke. That's actually too good. Nathan and bad deck decisions. No. But Taylor, you can't say that because half of them came from you. This is the only one that you had nothing to do with. And to your point, it may be the worst one. Oh goodness, that's too good. That's too good. Oh man. What y'all know about Blue Surging Strike Fan Zen? Nothing. Because it was not good. That's why you don't know nothing about it. Oh, it was terrible. No, it actually was not that bad. In the deck's defense, it was good in the mirror match. And at Nats, I played against exactly 0 mirrors, even though it was the by far the most represented deck in the room. I played against exactly 0. So that was on the unfortunate side. Leaking my LL deck. Bro, you bring Blue Surging Strikes into LL. Then we would play the same deck. I could give up a Rune Blade for that. But I'm telling you, at Nats, if I could tell you the look on their face when I made a tiger that I didn't need, and I was like, activate fan, put it to the bottom of my deck, draw a card, and they're just like, what? Turned a tiger into a whole card? Broken? Yeah, and then you shuffle your deck from Zen, and then you draw the tiger, and then you immediately regret your decision. But we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. The point was to end the game before that happened. Okay, that was the point. This is another knick-knack bric-a-brac psyop. LOL, JK. Would love to see a road deck. I mean, I have tried. I don't know how well I've done. I've tried to be I've tried to build a platform where I you can come here to get honesty, okay? You're not always gonna get the right answer, but whatever I like during my tier list and stuff, if I think that a matchup is a certain way or I think a hero is at a certain level, it's because I truly do. It may be wrong. I may be completely out to lunch in a couple situations, but it's because I honestly think it is what it is. And if there's something I can't share, I won't share it. But no, I'm not trying to sigh up anybody into because also like what do I gain by telling people I'm playing Huntsman? Well, nobody's teching for the 2% of players, right? So I'm not gaining any equity by like, you know, I don't know. I don't it's definitely not a psyop, but we'll see. We'll see. So why not Florian? Curious if you're off the deck for the same reason as me. I've never been a Florian fan to be honest. The deck just it doesn't do quite enough and I think the meta's just shit for it. Gravy's bad. Syndra's not good. Verdant's not good. That's the 3 most represented decks. If you're bad into all 3 of them, ain't no way. Think Puffin will do well. Was she an option? She was never an option. I think that that deck was a flash in the pan. I do not think it's good. Could somebody have a good run with it off of expertise and getting lucky in a couple spots? Sure, it could happen. But like holistically, I think that it's not a very good decision to bring that deck, in my opinion. But I would be ecstatic to be proven wrong, to be honest. But we'll see. So I didn't have too much planned today because I wanted to kind of get back to testing, if I'm being honest. Um, I will say we've been in the trenches on the testing. We've been doing a lot. I think just about every night we've been getting some at least a few games in. So we're trying. We're trying. We're doing the best we can. And yeah, for better or worse, we might be hunting contracts at Worlds. Huntsman at Worlds. If the Nathan from a year ago knew that he would be playing Huntsman at Worlds, he'd probably quit the game. He'd probably be like, hell no. There's nothing to look forward to. But here we are. Here we are. I don't know. Maybe it's a bad decision. Maybe it's not. But I was planning on today being a rather short stream. So if anybody has any questions, comments, questions about worlds, anything like that, I would love to answer them. And yeah, yeah, Huntsman for worlds. What a world. What a world. That was Viscera were good. We got that solved. It did suck because before the bans, we had like a 6 dirge cussing list and you know, I'm gonna make you sign a Marvel Young Briar, bro. You don't want me to ruin that card with my chicken scratch. Ain't no way. I mean, I'll do it if you want me to, but man, it's a beautiful card. So you're playing Huntsman for both formats. No shot. Do you think the mood is going to be down a bit this world is due to LL being a man? So what I think we got Huntsman at Worlds before GTA 6. No shot. So I think that everybody's gonna be having a fantastic time at Worlds. And then I give it till approximately the second round of LL. And then you are going to see the vibe in the room will immediately flip. Like, let me paint the scene, right? You go to any big tournament that's like really competitive, right? Like a pro tour, um, maybe day two of a calling, the top tables, world, something like that. After each match, you can kind of walk around, um, you know, and kind of see like who lost their last round and who won, right? Just kind of on the vibes that they gave off or whatever. And I I think what's gonna happen is when LL hits, it's just gonna exaggerate everything. It's like people are gonna be like, "Bro, I popped this, I did this, I dealt 120 damage," and then some people are gonna just be like fuming, bro. Like just you thought you thought Allen's backpack got the worst of it at the first world championship. You wait. I predict that something will be broken. I think somebody is going to punch something or throw something somewhere. I'm telling you, bro, some people are going to be fuming. Not because of the format, but just they're gonna get high rolled to sleep. And you're gonna get that poor soul that gets high rolled twice in a row, bro. Oh my god. And we have those buddies that oh, everything's a bad beat story. Even if they fucked it up 7 ways to Sunday, it's still a bad beat, right? And oh man, if that happens twice in a row, oh my god, they're gonna be fuming. They're gonna be fuming. Once LL starts, it'll just be bad. Yep, exactly. Exactly. Wow, glad I got to make no decisions and take 30. That's exactly what's gonna It's been in my binder for actually a year, and you've not been at any of it. Yeah, that's my fault because this year I did kind of take it a little bit slow because I was kind of trying to find a lane that I enjoyed. Hopefully that's Huntsman. That would be dope if I would say that like thoughts on December BNR could change the meta for RTN season. I I think they'll be forced to change it up just because it'll be like so solved, right? Like it's been solved for quite some time. I think this is probably, in my opinion, one of the metas that was solved the quickest, quote unquote. And at the same time, there's been a few evolutions in the past weeks, maybe month, but all in all, it's been the kind of the same story, right? Maybe a little less KO, a little bit more, a little less Syndra, a little bit more, but like the general story's been pretty set in stone for the entire meta almost. I mean, we got this shit down in like 2 weeks. So I think that if we do catch a ban in December, it'll literally be to just shake stuff up. Um, I think that, and hopefully they like do that. Hopefully they'll just be like, yeah, we're banning this because we need to like have a different meta. And then what that also does, if they do it that way, the people who are like, let's say they ban something from Syndra to open up the format a little bit, or vice versa for Verdance, and those players, they're going to be pissed, right? But like at the same time, if they know it's just temporary, maybe they're not as mad. Maybe. I mean, it seems like something worth trying. There'll be at least one dude that tilts and sells their deck. Oh, the vendors are making a killing this weekend, bro. A killing. What's your second choice for LL if for some reason you can't play this? That's a good question. It would be Dio. Dio would be, it would not be another Rune Blade. Um, I think that the issue with Briar is she's just a little underpowered. I think she's a solid deck. I just think she's a little underpowered, just missing a little something. Chain is still pretty good, but lost a lot of his consistency. Basically, what happens with the deck now is you have to very aggressively creepers, and that makes you much more fragile to hand texture and disruption. Basically, because you have to lean on creepers a lot more, you don't have the ability to block out, you know, this into that. It reduces your lines a lot. Sure, you can still do the RuneGate chain stuff, right? But what ultimately happens is when those RuneGate cards come flying off the top, they build up really quick. And without the dirges, you don't have any like fluid ways to really get them out because you're basically just leaning on Breville, is what you're ultimately doing. Um, so my second pick for LL would be Dio. That would be the deck that I would bring. Good question though. All right, if anybody's got any questions or anything, more than happy to answer them. And then, of course, like always, if you plan on going to Worlds or the Calling, whatever the case may be, say hi. I love meeting people that either stop by the stream or just anybody. Don't even have to watch the stream. Doesn't matter to me. I love meeting people in the community, and yeah, that's why we play the game, right? And I'm looking forward to it. The keynote, interesting aspect. Like, there's so many things that I expected in the keynote, like the OP program going to $2 million. We kind of saw that in the distance. We had the 1.5 bump, I think, a year or two ago. It was a matter of time, and Andy, you got to beat me to it. You got to beat me to it. And basically, I'm wondering what they're like, the world tour points. That is something they could have easily saved for the keynote, right? Like that's what I expected. I knew that they were going to get rid of Elo because they kind of hinted at it in a dev talk, I believe, that it wasn't working the way they thought it would, and they were just spending a lot of time on that, or giving it some attention. So I was like, all right, they'll announce something at Worlds, right? Because that's the end of the season, and that's when we'll announce the winner of the world tour points. Like, that's just the perfect time. But they've already announced it. They've already announced the $2 million. Like, what are they actually announcing at the keynote? They must have some stuff in the bag. Like, I don't know. Obviously, they're going to touch on the next set, and maybe they show us the heroes, whatever the case may be. I guess the next natural thing to talk about is kind of speculation on the next set. I do believe at some point in time, somebody said that the first set in, maybe it was James. I don't know, but I remember this from somewhere, and I could be wrong. That the first set in 2026 is Monarch 3. That is the thing that I remember. And with that being said, I'm w- we're basically at an interesting spot with Monarch 3. I actually want to spend some time on this because I think it's interesting. Dusk Till Dawn, if you ask 90% of the player base, it was not the best set, right? 90% of the commons and rares were completely forgettable, draft chaff, like, just, I'm just being honest, right? Like, now the upper level stuff, like the Majestics, there were some heaters there, right? And stuff like that. But past that, like, everything below a Majestic was just never, you know, other evidence points to it being set 20 due to synergy. Okay. Think of see. Hmm. Usually when they spoil the set, they give us the heroes. That's usually what happens. And so the overall sentiment of Dusk Till Dawn was it was not the best. It was like better than Bright Lights, but not by a lot. Okay. And for anybody that enjoyed Limited, Bright Lights was probably better. So I think that they can't afford to do the same thing, right? You cannot do that back to back. Yeah, it's just bad, right? What I think happens is if you're designing that third Monarch set, assuming um assuming that, they have the same thought process, and maybe they don't, right? Maybe I'm wrong in the analysis, whatever the case may be. But I think that you're really going to, from a design standpoint, going to have to kind of you're gonna have to leverage some old levers. And what do I mean by that? I mean like tapping into nostalgia. I mean, really just kind of putting that oomph back in the Monarch name. And I think how they're going to accomplish in the most straightforward, direct way to do that is I think we will get the next chain. Um, it is not going to be near as powerful as chain, of course. But I think that would be my speculation. As like a way to like, just really kind of secure the success of the set. And I don't know. There my other kind of speculation would be I know the Monarch series, there's a lot of cars that have a lot of the people from Aria and stuff like that kind of, going to Solana to defend it. I think what's there's like this round's on me and there's a couple other cards where it showed them like well it was the art on the website. It had like Oldham and a bunch of other people like walking to the city of Solana. And I wonder if they just if like the third Monarch set the other option, like you either go like nostalgia, chain, or you go, this set's gonna have fucking everything. And you literally spend a whole set like just a massive supplemental set kind of vibe, if that makes sense. That's kind of the two guesses that I have, which also would support the idea of the kick off of Silver Age, right? Because Silver Age, there's a lot of heroes that probably, you know, need some support. Spring of 2026 for Aurora, so maybe that fits more into there. But that was Lexi. I don't know if it was Aurora, but I mean, I guess they could just fit her in there in either way. The same announcement from Monarch 3 also said it would be the first set entirely created by Chris. Oh, I didn't know that. Apparently, no oversight from Jane. That's interesting. Yeah, set 2 of the year is probably Lightning. I mean, they're probably going to Volt Haven, right? I assume since they did a Candlehold set, they'll probably just hop around and do the other ones. If I had to guess, pure speculation. Or maybe they've already done Eisenloft with Jarl. Maybe that's like I don't know. Just speculate. Jarl just seemed like an Oldham replacement, to be honest. But we'll see. But I'm just excited. Excited to see everybody hang out, have a good time. The keynote's always a blast. Be a good time. They've shown with Valda that they'll put a hero out for months before the set they release in. Gonna be hard to guess at the future. I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Well, that's not true because didn't Master Pack Guardian got delayed? The actual release date on Master Pack Guardian was not the natural release date. So I don't know. But that's just a couple ideas. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But I'm looking forward to it regardless. But I want to thank everybody for stopping by the stream. There will not be one next week because I will start my traveling more than likely Wednesday night, um, before Worlds. And so there will be no stream. This is the last one before the World Championship. And I look forward to seeing everybody when I get back. And yeah, if you're there, have a good time. Stop by, say hey. I would love to chat. Other than that, there's a 90% chance I'm on Huntsman. Like, I'm almost probably higher than that, to be honest. Like, I'm almost positive. Um, we'll see. We will see. We will see. Safe travels to you, Andy, as well. Thanks for joining. And I'll see everybody either this weekend or next weekend or the Wednesday after. Take care. See everybody next time.